Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Looks like we got audio. I hate that this is now the second live stream that has started with me going test 1, 2. All right. Waiting for people to enter. Looks like that sound. At least my sound indicator is showing yes, sound now. William, thank you so much for being here. I think you're the first. Okay. All right. People are starting to show up. All right. It is what you know what I did differently? Nothing. Not a thing differently. So I don't know. Oh, we got Australia. That's great. I'm glad that Australia, the entire continent of Australia, is here to talk about what's going on with physical media in Australia. It's weird, man. It's not Tiberius. It's I'm using a Mac going through Chrome, and because that's what it says to do. I've done nothing different, so I don't get it. It's like I don't know. Sometimes it feels like this platform is trolling me. All right, so this was kind of an experiment. This is what I want to tell you guys when we first kicked off the previous. You know what? While I'm thinking about it, did I delete that other live stream so that people aren't like, "Well, what's going on here?" Let me make sure I delete that so that people aren't like, well, what's going on? Let's see. All right, live replay. Oh, people are watching the other one too. Hold on, 52 people. All right, delete forever. All right. This is kind of an experiment because it's a weekday for one thing. I was doing them on Sundays because I felt like that'd be a good time to do them, and it was good. This is an experiment because people are at work, right? But this news, this Australia stuff is it's emerging. It's an emerging story, and I wanted to get out in front of it because listen, this is just what happens when these rumors start to pop up. I think this started on Reddit. Actually, I got notes. Let me check my show notes here. Started on Reddit. I don't know who started the rumor that Sony is pulling their support. But basically, the rumor is Sony stopping physical media in Australia like now. Basically, we're at the end of 2023. And also, in conjunction with that JB Hi-Fi is also going to be stopping support. They're not going to sell physical media anymore after this year. I don't know how true that is because there's like 2 pre-orders. Somebody said there's 2 pre-orders right now for like February 2024. So maybe not. I don't know. Here's really what it comes down to is that we don't know, but one of the reasons I wanted to go live with this is because even when we don't know anything, the rumor mill just kicks into overdrive and we get all these people that start going for the clicks, and that fuels a lot of anger and a lot of fear and a lot of like outrage. And I just wanted to put this out as early as possible, and I could do this a lot easier than I can if I record this and then edit this, to say, like, we don't know. Now, Sony did shut down their website, right? Somebody told me that this morning. They said Sony shut down their. It's like Sony. I don't even know what the website is, but they shut down their Australian website. So I don't know. Oh, it's 6 a.m. in Australia. Holy cow! You're up early. I mean, you're getting it started. You going to get it. You get it, son. That's right. Do it live. Oh, I'm afraid this live stream will be fully operational by the time your friends arrive. It's probably true. I guess that's kind of where I'm coming from. Is like, it sounds about right. And that's probably okay. Now I know Australians are like, it's not okay. Like, I just feel like we did this with Disney, right? We had this whole thing with Disney, and I know like it sucks right now. I know that there's no physical media Disney products in Australia. Of course, people in Australia can import them. I know that's not fun. I know that's expensive. But that's why I reached out to the boutiques when that happened, is because the boutiques were like, yeah, I don't know. They're like, we're doing pretty good. In fact, Umbrella Entertainment told us that they had seen month after month profits. Like every month was more profitable than the one before it for 2 straight years. So it's not a statement of like, oh, well, nobody cares anymore. Though I do think we should talk a little bit about that too. Just like where we are as physical media fans in the grand scheme of things and the overall arc of the marketplace. Let's do it right now. Just let's remember that we're like, boop, like we represent this to the market. And it's cool that there are so many companies that cater to us, but there are hundreds of millions of streamers, people that are on Disney Plus and what Australians. Hey, y'all Australians, what are the streaming platforms that you guys that are really reliable for you? Like, what are the biggest? Is Disney Plus in Australia? Because I'm not even sure what the services are. But there are hundreds of millions of streamers worldwide. I figure somebody asked me to they wanted me to share my paperwork on this. There is no paperwork. It's just what I've gathered from doing this for 7 years now. I think there's less than 100,000 disc buyers. And I think that's worldwide. And I think that there's probably about 25,000 or less active disc buyers. And they were like, well, what does active mean? People that are buying that are buying discs every month. I think most people, in fact, I wanted to mention to you guys that there's a poll here. I got the poll right here. The Digital Bits. Let's shout out Bill Hunt from the Digital Bits, one of our veterans here covering this stuff for over like 26 years. Ran a poll earlier this year, 2023. We're talking about, and he asked people. He said, "Hey, here's a poll question for physical media fans. How many titles on disc, including Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, music, CDs, etc. We're talking about all the physical media. Do you purchase in a typical month? Inquiring minds want to know, and we'd love to hear from you all." So the categories are 15 to 20, which is what I would fit in. And then people go like, bro, you get everything for free. No, I still spend a ton of money on movies. I bought, like, in the last month or so, I bought all the seasons of Good Times. Hanging in a child line, Good Times. And I bought just a ton of stuff. I'm always chasing the stuff down. So that's me. I've been like 25 plus for probably for 20 years. The next category was 10 to 15, 5 to 10. The smallest category was 0 releases to 5 releases. So with 2,000, when I took this screenshot, 2,128 people had weighed in on this poll, which isn't, that's not a huge sample, but it's a couple thousand people. That's the people that were dedicated, that are following the Digital Bits on Twitter. So of those 2,000 people, 2,100 people, 70% of them are buying 0 to 5 releases every single month. I was like, what? And so, like, we got to remember this when we see all this, like, well, he's stripping. When we see all this, why no 4K stuff? Most of the audience isn't buying anything. They're buying a few releases a month, and that's the diehards. So I just think that if it is changing, it's not dying. Because I fully believe, and boy, this really bugs some people. I fully believe that physical media will never die. Because we got tapes, right? We got like new tapes, like my record store day, Black Friday record store day, new cassettes from like cool artists and stuff. Vinyl's huge. Nancy Sinatra's putting stuff out on 8-track and stuff like that. Like, where do you get an 8-track player? I mean, you can get an 8-track player from Amazon. It's like Magnavox or somebody makes one of those units, and it's got like you lift the top up, it's got the turntable, it's got a cassette player on one side, 8-track player on the other side. It's not good, it's a piece of garbage, but you can buy those. It's never going to die. It's never going to fully go away. But what we're seeing is, and I've said this a bazillion times, and you guys know what's coming, is we're seeing the market contracting and going back to what it was before that big boom. Before, it was like 2001, really, when the boom really started, when people started to go like, oh, like, because I was an early adopter of DVD. I remember taking all my VHS tapes, not all of them, but a lot of my VHS tapes into my pawn shop in 1998 to sell them for money for DVDs, because DVDs were brand new. And the guy that checked me out was like a friend of the family, and he was like, good luck, Heath. I just don't think the DVD's ever going to catch on. I think you should keep your videotapes, because it's like, this is a sure thing. DVD's not. And so that's whenever people we get into these format wars and stuff, I think about that guy, and I think about like, hold on to your VHS tapes. Everything new is uncertain. So my point is, like, we talk about like 1998, like it's all still here. DVD is still the biggest format, but we're never going back to that boom. We're never going back to them. Somebody said this on Twitter. I'd like to credit who it was specifically, but I don't remember the name. But they were like, it's never going to be as big as it was back in the early 2000s. No, it will never be as big as that again. That's okay. Like, I was here before that, and it was fine. What we're living through right now feels like what it was like before the 2000s boom. And it was great, because it was the diehards. It was the people that really cared about movies, that really loved movies. And you could also tell who really loved movies based on who was doing, like, who would buy the widescreen versions of things on videotape. I remember getting the Untouchables widescreen, and it was like, this is how it's meant to be seen. This is as good as it's ever going to get. Meanwhile, I've bought the movie 3 times at least since then. So I don't know. Like, I think the market is definitely contracting. I think it's definitely, like, I think we're going to see a lot more of this. I think that, like, even, again, not confirmed. If you're just joining us, the Sony pulling out of Australia, physical media, that's a rumor. It's not confirmed. I think where there's smoke, there's fire for this. I think it's definitely some talks about that. I think we're going to see that more often. I think that Warner Brothers is going to be I mean, all of them, like Disney was the first, but in place of that, and we see it in America too, right? It's not like it's not just Australia. Like Disney, but so they just put out The Mandalorian season 1 and 2, and they put out WandaVision. Put out Loki too, didn't they put out Loki? I only got WandaVision. They just are starting to get back into it, but for like 3 years, like a Disney disc was like it's like finding a unicorn. I mean, it just dried up really hard, and the stuff that they do put out's not great. You know, where's the Star Wars box set with all of the films and the original cuts? That's what everybody wants. That's what we want. That we don't have it. We're just seeing the market change right now, and it's going to continue to shrink, and that's okay. Like, you know, I just posted something on Twitter that there's a site saying that Warner Brothers is like, the chances of them filing bankruptcy are over 60%. That's probably clickbait, but I think there's definitely something to that. Hey, Channel Surf, thank you so much. It looks like we got a member. Channel Surf is a member here. I want to shout that out because that's very important to me. That is supporting the channel on a whole other level. Hugh said, so nobody's missing out on anything. What you have won't vanish. What you want can probably be found with obvious exceptions. It's fine. That is so true and important. I want to point that out. Like, we have everything. I know that it's human nature to be like, but what if, you know? But we have everything. Chan talks more movies. Right on, another member. Hold on, let me hit this comment really quick. Physical media sales were never big in Australia. See, I don't know this stuff. I haven't seen these numbers, but I mean, it makes sense. He said, so it makes sense that they would reduce releases. That's what I've heard, is that outside of the boutique scene, physical media was never huge in Australia. I can't speak to that with knowledge because I don't know, but I've heard people say that. Chan Talks More Movies member says, what do you think the chances of Disney dropping the movie club? I think they're pretty big. I think the movie club is on life support. They haven't put out anything cool in 2 years, maybe more than that. I think the last thing I bought from them was, I joined the Disney movie club for all the exclusives. And I don't mean, like, now the exclusives are like, oh, it's an exclusive slipcover of Cinderella. Yeah. Like, no, I was there for, like, you know, The Black Hole on Blu-ray and some of those animated movies that we haven't gotten, that never got a mainstream release. Did we ever? We never did get the what's the Black Cauldron? We never got the Black Cauldron, did we? a great example of something that the Disney Movie Club should have put out. But we're going to see more of this. I think Warner Brothers is probably going to stop supporting a lot of physical media. I mean, the rumor is in 2024, Warner Brothers catalog may go up for sale. Now, again, it's rumor. You can't put too much stock in it. The problem with, like, the reason I'm making this video is because people run with rumors like it's a fact, and it's not a fact. It's a rumor until it's proven to be a fact. But it's like, it makes sense. Like, Warner Brothers is not in great shape right now. For a lot of reasons, and if physical media's got almost nothing to do with it, because again, we represent a teeny tiny market. Most of us are buying 0 to 5 releases a month, and there are hundreds of millions of streamers, right? So we represent, we are not in the conversation about money or revenue or anything like that. Somebody said to me, I was talking to somebody, I don't even remember who it was, but it was somebody that had authority, and I was like, what if you could put out blah 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 on 4K? And they said, even if that was a success, that would bring in like, it was like $50,000 or something like that. And he was like, whereas a streaming deal is millions, sometimes way more than that. I was like, oh, somebody asked me, Morgan, friend of the show, Morgan asked me yesterday on Twitter why the new the Beverly Hills Cop movie was going to Netflix and not to Paramount. It's because Netflix is the only one with the cash right now. All these other streaming services are like billions in the hole, and so Netflix is profitable. They're in the black, baby, and so they're probably like, well, we'll throw you, we'll give you two. We don't know the deal, but it's probably, we'll give you $200 million for that. So Paramount, that's cash. That's what they need. They need cash because they ain't got it. They ain't got it right now. There's all these companies like we are. I really think. I hope not. Knock on wood. I hope not, but I really think that we are witnessing the death of the studio system. I said that on Twitter like last week because Zaslav said something stupid again, and I was like, I think we're. No, it was when Bob Iger said that the reason that the Marvels failed, and I don't want to start a huge debate about the Marvels because I haven't seen it. I thought the first one was fine. It bothered me that they explained the eye patch on Nick Fury because don't over-explain. It's like when Chewbacca meets Yoda in in episode 3. It's like, don't explain too much. Don't take it too far. But he was like, the reason it failed is because we didn't have enough executives on set every day. Of like, oh, that's why? Because your executives weren't on the set? Huge disconnect. They don't get it. They don't know what we want. They're not listening to what we want. And as people just continue to go support blockbusters, that's what we're supporting. We're feeding that system. So Black Cauldron came out on DMC May 4th, 2021. I gotta check and see if I have that or not. Got a whole, see those yellow spines up there? That's Disney Movie Club exclusives. I should check. Maybe I do have it. Yeah, Netflix has deep profits for real. So I don't know. Like, hold on. I gotta get back to my notes because I did put out an outline for this. Because it's kind of like, again, it makes sense. I think we're gonna see this not just in Australia, but wherever. I think it's important to say, like, wherever the studio declines, those libraries will probably get licensed. I know everybody is knocking on Disney's door and they're knocking on Warner Brothers' door for that catalog, to license the catalog. They go, listen, you're not putting out anything. You're putting out like 4 movies a month. Let us get up in there and then we can get it out the door and then we make some money and you make some money and everybody wins. And not right now, not today. That's what I hear. So at some point, that not today is going to be take it, take it. Just do what you got to do with it. And then because that's revenue. Again, it's not a whole lot of revenue, but I think about, if you can get, let's say, so let's hypothesize a big release. Let's do, what's one everybody wants? Talk this week about, the Peck and Paw movie. What's the Peck and Paw movie? Why can't I think of the name of the Peck and Paw movie? The 1969 Ernie Borgnine. What is the name of the Peck and Paw movie? I'll wait for you guys to catch up with me. The Wild Bunch. Wild Bunch. Channel Surf is there. Is like, this is what happens. I get into this flow, and then everything is like, everything else is out. I mean, I'm just locked into the zone. So we're like the rumor, like the Wild Bunch is being worked on. So we know it's coming. Say that comes out, right? That's a big title. That might even be a Criterion title. Realistically, how many copies is the Wild Bunch going to sell? 10,000? Maybe 20,000. Okay. It's $40. Say it's $40, which is probably a little high. That ain't a lot of money. But if you could do that 100 times, that adds up. And I think that's where we're at right now, is it's no longer really profitable for the studios to chase the little money. Like Warner Brothers, like, okay, so let's stick with Sony. Sony's like Spider-Man, Venom, you know? They're like, they're looking for these connected universes that are going to bring in hundreds and they're looking for billion-dollar franchises. And Warner Brothers is looking for, what do they got? It's like, we talk about the Warner Brothers library. They own the executive, like Zaslav, right? He cares about Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and DC. That's about it. I'm not even sure. And he stood up in the Turner Classic Movies Festival stage and said like, "Oh, we love the library." I don't know if that's true. I'm not even sure he can name 5 Humphrey Bogart movies. Not that it's a quiz. Although if you're the head of the studio, you should probably be able to name 5 Humphrey Bogart movies. I don't think Looney Tunes is part of the equation. I think Looney Tunes is for the old timers. Like, and I'm an old timer, but I don't think there ain't no money in Looney Tunes. I mean, maybe there is, but you saw what they just did with the Coyote movie, right? Terry says Madam Web and Craven will probably tank. I don't even know. So I haven't even watched the trailers for those. You know, I'm a comic book guy, and these movies feel so disconnected from anything that I know. Aquaman, right? I know people love Aquaman. They're like, oh, Jason Momoa, he's so dreamy. He's muscular. He's got tattoos. He's a bad boy. He's a bad mother. Like, I don't recognize that Aquaman for what I've been reading for my entire life and what my parents read, like what my grandfather read. These characters at this point, they're just total fabrications. Isn't Craven like, I heard something the other day that Craven is like part, like he's got the DNA of an animal or some such like that. I was like, what is that character? That is not Craven. Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5 is the best Craven story. It's also a really good Venom story. That gets it. But these movie studios, like, there's a huge disconnect. Pokemon. Who did Pokemon? Is that Sony? I don't even know. Somebody said Madam Web, Strumdog. Madam Web looks removed from her actual. Hey, Patreon supporter, Strumdog. Madam Web looks removed from the actual character. Isn't that character only like 6 years old or something too? Isn't she a pretty new character? I don't even remember. I've ducked in and out since Straczynski left the title. Nick Spencer's run was pretty good, but he lost me a little bit towards the end. Let's compare. 47 seconds, an ad will run shortly for some viewers. I don't even know how that works. It's all out of my hands, guys. It's ads or no ads. So you got to go with ads. They've taken a lot of these options away. You used to could choose like where you put the ads. Now it's like ads, yes or no. So you take the ads if you want YouTube to play along with you and to promote your stuff, you take the ads. Let's compare this to vinyl, because I think that this was an interesting point. Because I've been saying like physical media is going to where it's where vinyl is. Vinyl never went away. People were like, I remember like in 92, we all went to see, I got my CD player in 95, I think. It was a late adopter because it was expensive technology. But people were like, with CDs, vinyl's dead. But it wasn't. Now this ad's about to run, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose people. When the ads run, do I go away or do they run under the scenes? Like, is it interrupting my live stream with an ad? Casablanca on 4K is a must-own, Channel Surf and Jeremy. It is, I keep it right here in frame for every video because this is the Zabby version. You will not believe how good this movie looks. The blacks, like, and people go like, should you do HDR for a black and white movie? Yes, you should, because it makes those darks. Just like Casablanca is such a dark movie thematically and visually. That's just like, Some people say they didn't get the ad. All right, well that works for me. So somebody when I made that point about vinyl, about how like, well, I always like in the 90s, I was still buying vinyl. I was going to the college record store and seeing what was new. I was hitting up the thrift store. The thrift stores weren't new vinyl, but like there was a culture of vinyl all through the 90s when CDs were popular. But Duncan on Facebook, credit where it's due, Duncan on Facebook said to me that vinyl is really expensive and that's one of the side effects of it being where it's at right now. And Duncan is totally right because vinyl is now a luxury item. Um, records records right now. What is the one that some record just came out? I was looking at it. It was like $60 for it might have been Dolly Parton's new album, her rock album. It was like $60 or something like that. I was like, whoa. So the price for these things is absolutely a luxury now. Let's also consider that there's a recent study, this was this year too. A study found that half of all the vinyl purchases are sold to people that don't have a way to listen to them. They don't have a turntable. So they're buying it just to have the thing, just to have the tangible thing. I mean, I guess it's okay. It's weird. Like you're buying it, you're not gonna listen to it, but they're gonna like listen to it's those youngins, they're gonna listen to it on Spotify, and then they want to support the artist because the artist doesn't make any money from Spotify. Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff, that's convenient, but the artist gets nothing. So tours, t-shirt sales, vinyl sales, that supports the artist. But vinyl has gotten so expensive. But here's the thing, like when that happens, I think we see that pushes people back to whatever the format underneath that is. So with vinyl, now it's the golden age of the CD again. You go into a thrift store, you guys saw my last thrift store video, right? Where I walked into a thrift store and I got like 46 CDs. Was it 46 CDs? And I went back a few days later. This was like a Patreon video. I went back a few days later, got 15 more. Like that pushes people, and that's what we were doing. That's why vinyl was so appealing in the 90s, is because CD reigned. You go into Walmart and there's cassettes and CDs and everything. Vinyl was more of a niche thing, and it was approachable. It was affordable. And I think we're going to see that again because CDs, you get a CD for like $9, $10, brand new for some new recording artist. And here's the other thing that people don't want to hear, that people are like, they do the Heisman, right? They're like, no, they don't want to hear it. Digital, you guys, digital is there. And all the conversations about the decline of physical, or the expensive physical. Here's where I'm at with it now. 2023 has been the year that taught me physical media and digital are two halves of the exact same coin. It's not this versus this, it's this and this, because there have been so many things that I wanted to support on physical, but the physical product sucks or it doesn't exist. There's a movie that comes out and it only gets a Blu-ray. I'm like, but it's in 4K. What are you doing? So I think that applies to music. I think it applies to movies. Like, if we could get over the conversation about ownership, I don't know what the obsession with ownership is. I know why we support physical media, because it looks better, it sounds better, you have the tangible artifact of it, you have the special features, and nobody can take it away from you. That's great. But we all rented back in the day, right? Like, so many of us that have collections like this because we love Blockbuster and the mom and pop video store, and we love going into the stores and browsing. We didn't go into Blockbuster and go like, don't rent. Just stand in front of the door at Blockbuster and be like, don't rent. You don't own it. You don't own it. So that's like, I don't know. It's funny to me. Like, it's become comedy to me because I used to be the exact same way. Like 14 months ago, I was like, physical media or nothing, you guys. They can't take it away from you. Now, 2023 has taught me a lot of lessons. And I'm probably going to do a video about this for my channel before the end of the year, because I get reflective at the end of every year. I'm like, where have I been? Where am I going? 2023 taught me a lot of lessons about ownership and about just where things are at right now. I think that as physical media declines, and this is directly for Australia, you got Australians, ears up, right? As physical media becomes more and more of a niche pursuit, especially in Australia, I say lean on whatever you can to see the movies or to see TV shows. Support digital platforms where you can. No, you don't really have total control over it. No, you don't own it, but you get to see it. Somebody else was like, this was on Reddit. Somebody was like, this just makes me want to pirate. They're like, why would Australians not pirate? It's a good point. It's a good point. I would say piracy should be a last resort whenever there's a legal option, because I do think artists deserve to be paid for what they do. Let me catch up with some of these comments here. It says you've become a VOD person. I have kind of become like there have been so many things lately that I have. So I said I wasn't going to do a 2023 new movie review this year because I was like, I didn't really connect to a lot of it. I am going to do one because I connected to enough of it. Well, I'll tell you, you guys are going to get the scoop here. So what I'm going to do is like a 2023 new movie review palooza. I'm going to bust back out the review palooza. Some of you guys are like, I don't even know what that is. I used to do these review paloozas where I would just watch a bunch of stuff and then just give reviews. Just like a long form review video. I'm going to do that for the new movies of 2023. What I saw. I didn't see a ton because I'm way more concerned with history than the now. But all those new movies, most of them I watched on digital because I don't want them in my collection. Like I don't want to have, like I want access to them, but I don't need a physical version of them because I'm probably only going to watch them a few times. So I just got distracted. Arrow's putting the shootist out. That's awesome. So I don't know. Here's like one of the lessons 2023 has taught me is that adapt. You know, like adapt. Just whatever whatever lets you see this stuff. You know, that's really what matters. And you know why I feel this way is because it's been years of people going like support physical media and then having nothing to say about what's on the disc. I mean, it's been years now where people just like buy. And then they never talk about the movies or they never talk about the TV shows. And I'm like, I don't think they're watching this stuff. And so I've recently come to realize that a lot of the audience, a lot of my audience is collectors. Like they're not interested in movies. They're not interested in movie history. They're not interested in watching this stuff. They just want to collect it like a baseball card. And when I realized that, it was about 3 or 4 months ago, when I realized that, I was like, what am I even doing here? It kind of threw me for an existential crisis. Because I'm like, why do I even have a channel? If the people that are watching me don't care about watching things or talking about things, they just want to buy it. And it continues to be true because I can go to like Hank Williams' grave. I can talk about my thoughts on a movie that I watched or I want to review. It's going to get a fraction of the views that like, hey, this is out. Look what came out. Like my haul videos. Why do I do so many haul videos? Because that's what you guys watch. That's the thing you guys show up for. So I'm still kind of having my existential crisis too. So at this point, I'm just like, hey, just watch stuff. Just watch stuff. If we spent as much time talking about the format of things as we spend talking about the movies, man, there'd be so many new movie fans. They'd be like, I've never heard of that. That sounds great. I got to go check that out. That's not really the conversation. The conversation is about slipcovers and it's about transfers and stuff like that. And like, and why the 4K? 4K is great, but it's, you know, hey, he watched my Hank Williams video. Thank you so much. Well, the dark side said, I watch the things I buy. Otherwise, what's the point? I mean, I think the point is that people just love to buy things. That's kind of what I'm realizing is that a lot of the people that are here, and I don't mean here in this live stream, I just mean here in this YouTube space where everybody's making videos about new media and stuff. I think they just like to buy stuff. We're a consumerist society, guys, and that's okay. Well, I don't know if it's okay, but I just like what I started all this stuff for was because I wanted to talk about like my Bonanza thing that I just did. I just did that like really long conversation with the with Andy Clyde behind the Bonanza box set. The dude worked 15 years on making Bonanza possible, and Gunsmoke, and Perry Mason too. And like getting to know the story of that is so interesting to me. That video's not doing great. It's got like a few hundred views. So again, I'm like, what are we doing here? What's the point? And I get it. When people come home from work, they just want to turn on, but this is not where I expected this to go. They go, well, I just want to turn on YouTube and watch people talk about stuff. Like it's cathartic, right? Like I like to watch record hauls on YouTube. I watch people go hunt for records in record stores and stuff like that at thrift stores. I enjoy that. So I get it, but I don't know. I've 2023. It's been a transitional year for me. It's been really transformative for me to realize. And here's the thing. This is a good place to leave this conversation. I want to talk about losing viewers as I continue to go. People are like, I don't know about that. It's dropping for real. For real. I'm going to shout this out to the people that are watching the replay of this. As I'm talking about why do we do this, the numbers are dropping. People are leaving this conversation. That is crazy. Just watch things and enjoy it and talk about it. Here's a good wrap up for this, and we can talk. I want to transition into like some Christmas stuff because it's the season is upon us. The holiday season is upon us. Like if we never got another disc, I think a lot of us are like I'm set for life. I had a realization. Part of this is my transformation. Right, it's probably my midlife crisis. Is going like I don't have enough time to watch all this stuff. I will never get to some of this stuff again. Jeremy says people don't like wise. It's true. Don't make me look at myself in the mirror. But it's true. Like, do we not have enough? Are we not happy with what we have? Why do we need more? Somebody asked me a while back. They said, when is your collection going to be complete? And I think it was supposed to be a gotcha question. They're like, tell me this, consumer boy. When is your collection complete? And I was like, my collection is already complete. Every movie that I've ever loved, I have in some form. Maybe it's DVD, maybe it's VHS, because I do still have a VHS collection. It's already complete. Everything that continues to get served up now is just gravy. It's just like a cherry on top of a beautiful, huge ice cream sundae. And that's awesome. Like when you can get to that place and you'd be like, we're so good. We're so good. Hugh's backing me up. He said he's set for life. Love what he has, and there's a lot of new films I'm excited about. Yeah, there's so much. You are going to see videos about this topic, about physical media in Australia. It's going to be the panic face. It's going to be angry emojis. Whoa! Ryan Sim just contributed $25. He said, I loved your recent Star Wars sequel rewatch. Your opinions closely match my own. Star Wars fandom can be tough to navigate, and I felt very seen. As a longtime viewer, I wanted to show you some support. Thank you so much. I'm here for the love of this stuff, right? I'm not here to like show off. Is there anything I can do with this? I'm gonna love it. Yeah, that you get it, man. It's about the love of this stuff. You guys are gonna see people with the cry, you're gonna see the emoji. Like there are gonna be people that are chasing this story for clicks, for negativity. Negativity just always reigns. That's what gets the engagement. We want to be. I don't know what it is. And on the note of negativity, it's a Trekopedia. Don't forget, folks, PlayStation Network removed stuff people have bought. Yet another reason why physical media is important. Yes, that's true. Let's also say PlayStation Network is probably not the platform to be buying movies. It hasn't happened yet. And it's supposed to happen on December 31st, right? And I think that there's a lesson there about the lack of ownership with digital, but I also think that should not dissuade anybody from spending a few bucks to see something. Case in point, earlier, like right now, iTunes is running a bundle on Clint Eastwood movies. It's 12 Clint Eastwood movies and a documentary for $7.99. It's like a $100 bundle. It's $7.99. If somebody can drop $8 and watch 12 Clint Eastwood movies, they're better for it. I don't care that it's not physical. They will have seen 12 movies that they can then go talk about. They can be like, hey, I just saw Kelly's Heroes for the first time, or hey, Unforgiven is like the last word on the Western. And this documentary taught me so much about Clint Eastwood. I just want people to go watch stuff. I really don't care how they do it. And so much of what we do here, like the delivery system is the gateway, you know? Some of you guys are still so negative. So negative. It's like I do this. Anybody that does this is no, I don't like it. However, if people watch the stuff, PSN probably wouldn't have deleted the stuff people bought. Uh, that's true. Like if that was a working, thriving platform, this would not be part of the conversation. But I just assume I know going in that if I spend $5 for a movie, it can go away. Chances are it probably won't. This is the thing that like a lot of people talk about this. Most purchases endure for many, many years. It's still being explored, but I've got things in my digital library that have been there for like the better part of 10 years. Things I forgot I bought. I'm like, oh, I got that. Oh yeah, it's still there. Apple TV it's a good app. I'm gonna get off this because I know people are gonna get upset about it. So I'm not gonna spend too much time there. But again, physical, digital, two sides of the same coin. Neither one of them are perfect. They both have flaws, but together, I think they make for a happy collector, a happy fan. Hello, Albert. I just want to go back to that super chat one more time. So Ryan talking about the fandom and how fandom can be tough to navigate. Fandom is really rough right now. Fandom is in like every fandom. I mean, so like I sign on a Twitter now, and it's like the Doctor Who fans are like it's not all of them, but like R.I.P. Doctor Who, talking about how like it's a divided fandom. Star Wars divided fandom. Star Trek divided fandom. Anime divided fandom. And as somebody who's been a part of these fandoms for many years, for decades, I've never seen it like this before. And I don't really know what to do. I've told you guys this before. Like, I wanted to make a documentary about fans, like the rise of fans, because fans have inherited the world. I mean, we have everything right now. The studios are tailoring the movies. Like, you like this? Here's 5 more of that thing. But I realized in the process of like planning that documentary out that it was going to be very, very negative because everybody, even some of the celebrities that I kind of started to approach was negative. I was like, oh, we're all very unhappy. And I don't know why, but maybe it's social media. Maybe it's the access we have to information. Maybe because like so when I saw the prequels, there was not everybody loved those. Oh, I got another super chat. All right, hold. Let me finish my thought or I'm going to forget it. Not everybody loved the prequels, but you weren't getting the hate everywhere you went. It wasn't being blasted at you. There was a meme going around. It was before memes were memes, but it was like the version of the Phantom Menace that we wanted, and it was like Samuel Jackson, like Mace Windu being like, "You cannot be a member of this council. Yoda told you no, mother." Aaron super chat. Aaron Sleeper 4.99 super chat. I own 3 versions of Big Trouble in Little China. DVD, basic Blu-ray, recently a shout release with multiple commentaries, interviews, extras. I love, etc. I love the extras. I think I got 3 versions of that too. It's great. I also have because I'm talking to a fellow John Carpenter fan now. The Thing. Holy cow! I think The Thing is my favorite John Carpenter. I don't know. I was gonna say it's my favorite John Carpenter movie, but it tends to be whichever one I'm watching at that time. Big Trouble in Little China is great. I think it's up here somewhere. Although you guys know I'm sleeving a lot of stuff, so it might be in one of my sleeve totes. Another cardinal sin of collecting, which is why I don't even consider myself a collector anymore. I'm a cinephile. Give me access to that movie so I can talk about it, so I can watch it, so I can write about it, so I can do a commentary about it. Holy cow, guys, we got another super chat. Robert Hill, $30.99 Australian. Perhaps many titles were released in 2023 because of the decline is coming. I think you're onto something. JB hardly have any CDs in their stores, are all undergoing redesign. Oh, I didn't know that. It's kind of like Best Buy, right? I know you guys don't have Best Buy, right? But I think it's a similar thing with what we're seeing with Best Buy. I'd love to see The Sound of Music in 4K. Oh, could you imagine? Since the release of the 3 LP set. Did you guys see that Sound of Music just got like this expanded edition soundtrack release? I love talking about music. I'm so glad that somebody's here for it. I think there's something to that. JB Hi-Fi is probably a lot like Best Buy in the sense that they are chasing. The money's not there for physical media anymore. That's what it comes down to. Like you get to sell a refrigerator. What does JB Hi-Fi sell? They sell electronics, right? It's just gonna be like fridges and freezers and speakers and phones. They sell phones and TVs, televisions and stuff like that. And you got a $25 disc. I just don't think the money's there anymore for these people. Having said that, in the US, you guys know that Walmart represents like 45% of all discs sold. And they don't have a lot of Blu-rays either. It's mostly DVD, which I think that's one of the people go, how are DVD numbers so high? I think it's because Walmart mostly wants to sell DVDs. Because, and this is something I talk about people all the time. And Robert, maybe you can comment on this in Australia. DVD's good enough for most people that want to buy something. Let's remember, most people are going to stream, right? Most people are going to stream whatever they want to watch. Hundreds of millions of people happy to stream. The diehards want to own it. But most of the diehards are happy with DVD. It's good enough. So I don't know what's going on with JB Hi-Fi. I think it's cool that they still stock, like when Umbrella puts out stuff. By the way, I got a package from Australia Post out for delivery today. I was hoping it would be here in time that we could unbox it on camera, but it's not here. But anyway, like people could walk into JB Hi-Fi and pick up a Umbrella and like Imprint and stuff like that. Mark, hold on. Let me give that a heart. Let me give Aaron a heart. And Marco, you get a heart. The Diz Star Wars fan films are abominations and represent a sea change in filmmaking for the worst. That being said, here are a few bucks for some holiday cocktails. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I think that Disney Star Wars movies were created by executives, and therein lies the problem. Did I talk about this in the Star Wars video? Marco, did you see that Star Wars video that I made where Bob Iger talks in his book, which was supposed to be a victory lap? He wrote a book. He like stepped down as the head of Disney, and he released a book, which I think was supposed to be his like, "You're welcome, world," and he just comes across looking horrible, in my opinion. But you got to remember, I'm anti-corporation, I'm anti-executive, I'm anti-authority. I have oppositional defiance disorder. I'm like, screw the man. Who's the man? Wherever the man is, screw that. I'm an extreme case, okay? But Bob Iger says that he bought Lucasfilm. He wanted it for the cha-ching, for the money, for the asset value that it represented. And he knew he couldn't use George Lucas's story because George Lucas was going to make 7, 8, and 9. Ran into some financial roadblocks. Like he wanted to build a new studio for it. Couldn't build the studio because the community that he wanted to build it in said, not here. So Iger knows he can't use George's ideas, but he can't tell George that. So he and Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams conceived that story for The Force Awakens and who knows how much. Because clearly you watch, what's the last one? The Rise of Skywalker. You watch that movie, you're like, nobody conceived of this. This is just a reaction. And so George Lucas walks into the story meeting and he's like, "Oh, all right, guys." I can't do it. My voice is fried. He's like, "All right, guys, let's break the story. Let's get started on the screenplay." And they're like, "Actually, George, we've already got it. Thank you. We will not be needing you." And Lucas like leaves disenfranchised and disenchanted and angry. And he called them white slavers to the press, which is, ugh. But he said it. And I think those movies are made by executives. Now, Rian Johnson said nobody told him what to say or what to do, but yet it still feels kind of corporate to me. I don't know. I think we're seeing a lot of that now. These new Ghostbusters movies, they feel very much like they're made by executives to me. Daniel B just got back and realized we have sound. He's been gone for like an hour, I guess. I'm glad you made it back, Daniel. We have sound. You down with ODD? Yeah, you know me. Yeah, you know me. Terry says Star Wars is the execs milking the cash cow until it becomes beef jerky, then selling the jerky and complaining that only bones are left. A moment, guys. A moment for Terry's analogy. It just feels very accurate. Look, I like aspects of, when I watched that sequel trilogy again, I was like, I like aspects of it. The pieces are there for a good story, but they just didn't come together. Hold on, let me check my notes. I think we covered the whole Australia situation. I would like to talk about some holiday stuff before we go, because this is probably the only live stream we're gonna have before Christmas and whatever you celebrate. I say that because like Serial at Midnight's global, baby. We got people from all creeds and cultures and all these different nations all over the place. So it's not just Christmas. It's people that celebrate all kinds of stuff. So the holiday season. It's the holiday season. I don't know what that was. It's like slur. It's the holiday season. Lexi has an interesting point that I just saw. Rian Johnson can't write, so he just focuses on subverting expectations like a car with square tires. It went nowhere. You know what I noticed about Rian Johnson is that, and I like Knives Out. I really like Knives Out. I don't like Glass Onion, but I like Knives Out. And I don't like Brick. He did Brick, right? That's him. I don't think I like most of his stuff. I got to be careful about this because sometimes this stuff can get back to these people. I don't want to like burn any bridges, but I feel like Rian Johnson makes movies for the people he hates. I think he puts the people he hates in his movies. They feel like a reaction to people he doesn't like. I saw Looper. Looper was all right. I don't know, a lot of the stuff, it just doesn't connect with me. But you got to remember, I'm the movie history guy. Like, I'm way more interested in something from the 50s or the 60s or the 70s. I don't, you know what? That's trying to justify it. No, I just didn't connect with it very much. You know what else? So I've had Oppenheimer sitting in my digital collection since it came out. I can't bring myself to hit play. It just feels like homework. Some of these movies just feel so heavy, they feel like homework. Oh, Jeremy's got a good question. Comes up like every day. Why do you think there aren't more standard definition, so SD on Blu-ray releases for shows and movies that haven't or can't be done in HD? Jeremy. And to everybody else that asks this question every single day. And Jeremy, I'm not taking a swing, but like this is your question represents many people. It doesn't sell. So 4K is the least selling format, except for standard definition Blu-ray. SD Blu-ray confuses people. The mainstream audience doesn't even know what it is. Anime companies seem to have had some success with it, but even then, I saw with Discotech just announced something. They were doing a poll on social media. They were like, we want to put out a show on home media, Blu-ray, SD Blu-ray. And it sounded like the finances didn't work for SD Blu-ray. It sounded like the profit margins were pretty slim. All I know is anytime, I'm one of the spokespeople for physical media and for new releases and all that stuff. Anytime I talk about SD on Blu-ray, at least one person goes, wait, what? It's not HD? And then they go like, that's a lie. They lied. These companies are lying to us. They're cheating us. They're selling us Blu-rays and it's not HD. And then they're off on the rage train again. That's not one time that's happened. That's multiple times that it's happened. So I think that's why, because it doesn't sell and the audience is confused by it. And I don't even know how much cheaper it is. I know people say that it's cheaper. I don't know. I'd have to hear, like, I'd love to get I need to get the insight on from somebody that works on this stuff. Like, because it still has to be authored. It still has to be encoded and all that stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, me too. Discotech is like the SD Blu-ray company. Like they've embraced it in a great way. I love all that. Like you get a whole anime, you like 46 episodes on one Blu-ray. And it looks better than it would look on DVD because it's kind of upscaled a little bit. Like I'm a fan. I like it. But the general public is suspicious and angry. It is the Rage Train special. Sung to the tune of Johnny Cash's Orange Blossom special. Kevin said that he hasn't watched Oppenheimer or Killers of the Afternoon. Killers of the Afternoon. And he's had both for a while. Yeah, man. It was like 3.5 hours so my days of watching a 3.5 hour movie in a theater, done. I'm done with it. I did it. I've done it. I did it for 20 something years. I'm done. I cannot sit in a theater for 3.5 hours. 4 if you count trailers and the Coca-Cola commercials and the T-Mobile commercials. Like, I can't do it anymore. Why no SD on 4K? Yeah, that would sell worse. That would sell even worse than standard definition on Blu-ray. What do you? So look, guys, it's the holiday season. Let's kick off the holiday season with some cool talk here. Some Yule talk. Tip your waitress. I'll be here. It is like, this is one of the greatest times of the year, right? This is one of the happiest. Like, we're all, well, are we happy? I don't know. I plan to dial it down over the next few weeks. It's one of the reasons I wanted to get this up in conjunction with this Australia news. It's not news, but it's what we're talking about. Ooh, hold on. Hold a tick. We're talking Doctor Who. Nate. Hold on. I got to backtrack because I want to get on this Doctor Who conversation because I just started watching Doctor Who with the first season again. And it's rough. It's rougher than I remembered it being. There's good stuff there, but man, is it creaky. I don't see it. I can't find it. But somebody said they're talking to Nate and they told him to start with season 1 for the full experience of the Doctor Who series. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea with Christopher Eccleston. And then when David Tennant shows up, you're like, what? An earthly child. Are you my mommy? This is like, I'm hoping to. Did you guys see they put out? We're still talking about Doctor Who. The Peter Cushing films are good. I like those a lot. Shut the front door. Griff Redux, $25 super chat. Thank you. Boy, you guys are making my Christmas dreams come true, yo. Heath, thanks for the info and entertainment all year long. Top underrated Xmas movie. Mine has to be Santa Claus, the movie. Just got it in 4K and it looks awesome. Okay, so we're talking about like a favorite, which those are hard for me. So I'm going to have to talk it out. We're going to talk it out here in real time. Christmas movies, right? So like Die Hard. My wife likes to watch Die Hard on Christmas. I never watched Die Hard at Christmas time when I was younger. That's kind of a new thing. I think that's like a last 10 to 15 years thing. All right, hold on. Die Hard, Home Alone, but it's got to be underrated, right? Hold on. So now I'm going to go to my phone. I'm going to look up underrated Christmas movies and I'm going to select it because I don't know if you were here when somebody else asked me a question. Oh, I couldn't remember the name of The Wild Bunch, let alone how many times I've seen that movie, championed that movie. I could not remember the name of The Wild Bunch. So when I'm doing this, I'm in like tap dance mode and I can't think of things like that. Underrated Christmas movie. Underrated Christmas movies. Ooh, The Night Before is a really good underrated Christmas movie that Lisa Downs turned me on to 2 years ago for we did like a Christmas in July thing, or I used to do Christmas in July when I had the time and the energy when I was a younger man. And she was like, Lisa Downs, director, producer, writer of Life After the Navigator, Life After Flash, Life After trying to think like what's officially announced. Life After the Never-Ending Story. She was like, you gotta watch The Night Before, and I watched it and I thought it was freaking hilarious. There's a scene in a church with a baby and the guy's kind of tripping and he's like, can't even say what he said. That's a great one. Krampus, that's not underrated. That's overrated in my opinion. When movies start getting knockoffs, overrated. Everybody loves Jingle All the Way now. That's redemption for Jingle All the Way. I think I might go with some of these I've never even heard of, like Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square. Like, what is that? You know what I watched last year for the first time, and this is a good one that people can check out, is Remember the Night with Barbara Stanwyck and Fred McMurray. I think it's I'm not going to name the year, but he's the lawyer who's prosecuting her case. She gets arrested. He's supposed to take her. He ends up in custody of her and ends up going home for Christmas and has to take her with him. This could be a Sandra Bullock movie, like Sandra Bullock and who would the guy be? Josh Duhamel are in Remember the Night, but it's really good. Classic, classic 40s Christmas movie, Star Wars holiday special. You know, I never really liked Santa Claus the movie that much. I even read that when I was a kid. I read the novelization. What I remember from the novelization is they kept using the word puce, Puce, as a color, and I didn't know what that was. I guess that's like a kind of a pink. I was like, "What is puce?" Oh, the debate has begun on whether Die Hard and Batman Returns are Christmas movies. Mortal Kombat. Remember the Night is somebody else is saying Cinema Dave is here. I didn't know you were here, Dave. Remember the Night is great. Happy holidays to you too. It's puce. We can make puce juice next year. Call it puce juice. Most Shane Black films are Xmas movies, it seems like. One of the things I want to do this year is dial it back a little bit because here's the thing: is like I ended up working on videos. I've watched 0 Christmas movies or specials so far in December, and Christmas Eve is like 11 days away. That's not good. So I really want to make an effort this year to slow down a little bit and just touch base with my happy place. That sounds wrong. I want to touch my happy place, you guys. Heath said he was going to touch his happy place for Christmas. I want to get back, they just put out those Rankin Bass specials on Blu-ray. I know they came out on DVD last year. It's like 18. Someone clipped that. Yep, it's gonna be a short somewhere. I know it's a collaboration between Universal and Warner Brothers to get like all the original 18 Rankin Bass specials on Blu-ray, DVD last year, Blu-ray this year. I honestly haven't even bought it yet. I still have to buy it. But I really want to watch this because I love Rankin Bass. I did a video years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, like celebrating Rankin Bass. And I just want to touch base with those, right? I just want to get back into them, like some classic Rudolph and Frosty and like Animagic, just it's not. I call it claymation. It's not claymation. My kid brain associated claymation, like the Will Vinton claymation specials and the Rankin Bass things is the same. It's not the same thing. I know that, but that's like I was a kid when I caught all this stuff the first time, and it's still associated. K9 and Company just came up in the comments. K9, K9. I got a K9 shirt around here somewhere. K9 rules, man. If only that show had been picked up for a full series. And then later it didn't it get like an animated series or something like that? What about you guys? Like, what are some of your holiday? You know what? I should mention, I have failed to be a good promoter of my own stuff. Remember, there's a commentary for Die Hard with Eric Wilkinson, the maestro of MVD Entertainment, right here on this channel for free. Just watch it. It's a video commentary too. I wish we hadn't done it video, but he wanted to do video, so we did video. When the guy from MVD goes, let's do video, you do video. Coincidentally, he's the guy that said when he hired me to do the commentary for Killzone and for what was the other, for LA Wars, he was like, do a video commentary too, like do it in audio and in video, people could watch you. So he's big on that. So he's probably right. But anyway, because like Eric loves Die Hard so much. How much? He loves Die Hard so much that this man took out a page in, I can't remember if it was Variety or the Hollywood Reporter, but like it was like an open letter to the creators of Die Hard, like don't make Die Hard 5 or whatever. Maybe it was 4. I think it was 5. It was like, don't do it. Put that cookie down. It was like, do not make it. This is not what this franchise is supposed to be about. That's how much he loves Die Hard. So there's a commentary here with me and him on Die Hard. I did a commentary for Home Alone with Bree, my wife, Bree. That's a lot of fun too. People still tell me that like they laugh out loud listening to that commentary because I do the Chicago accents. There's a lot of people talking like this in there. the Kenosha Kickers, the Wisconsin accent. Um, he is not related to Scott Wilkinson, as far as I know. I don't think so. And there's a whole host of Christmas videos right here on the channel. I know, again, like I just don't have the energy anymore these days. I feel the toll of the burden of the editing table. But in the past, I've done lots of Christmas videos, championing some of my favorites. Like these days, again, like what gets the clicks is the new release coverage. But I have talked about Rankin Bass. I've talked about I've Christmas specials, the stuff that I love. So I want to check some of that stuff out, and I want to watch some of the Christmas movies that I haven't seen in a while. I feel like I follow a pattern like Elf, and then there's Christmas Vacation, both of which have 4Ks. But I want to dig a little deeper into Christmas oeuvre and see what else is there. I'll try to catch up on some stuff, like maybe some of those Robert Mitchum Christmas movies. Eyes Wide Shut is a Christmas movie. Yeah, okay. I love how anything now that has Christmas in it at all is like, it's a Christmas movie. I mean, whatever works in your head canon. Your head canon is all that matters. I'm gonna wind it down here in a few minutes, guys. This is people are at work, maybe they're watching on their lunch break. Or Australia, they're like, it's like 7 a.m. in Australia now. But I will have more. So here's a loose schedule. This next week, I've got a couple of videos that I need to get up. I guess there's going to be like probably an imprint video. There may be an Umbrella Entertainment video, but there's a few things. There's like interviews that were supposed to happen that I don't know if they will, because people have just kind of gone quiet on me. We'll see about that. But then Christmas week, I'm going to launch into my best of the year content. So that's going to be my 2023 new movie review palooza, in which I go, I didn't like it, and then I saw blah blah blah, I didn't like it, and then I saw blah blah. Actually, I have had a fairly good year with what I've seen this year, and there's a couple of big ones. I have not yet seen Godzilla minus 0 equals. Is it minus 0 or minus 1? Godzilla. I was going to make a negative Godzilla joke. I was going to do a math joke, but I don't think it works because it's minus 0, right? And then I'm also going to do my favorite releases of the year between Christmas and New Year. So that's coming. And I need to get those done. I haven't made them yet. I need to get them done so that I can step back. Got travel plans. Need to see some family for the holidays and just enjoy life. Let's just enjoy my collection. Ooh, I want to show you guys this. Physical media alert. I have not talked about this on the channel yet, and I really should, because I think it's streets ahead. This is, community fans in the audience, this is Universal's new Blu-ray for The Expanse. I've never seen the show. This is a review copy. I'd like to start watching it over the Christmas holiday, but I know it's based on some really popular books. Haven't read the books. I'm coming super fresh to this, but I like this. Like, this reminds me of, they just did this with Psych too. Like, these Universal releases feel like boutique releases. You know what I mean? Like, they feel like individual seasons in their individual cases. The box is sturdy. Like, this feels like a Shout Factory release to me. So, like, yeah. And it's like half the price of a Shout Factory release. Whoa, Robert Hill, super chat. Shut the front door, guys. Christmas is the time to be thankful, and I'm so happy we have Batman 1966 and Lost in Space. Excuse me. Lost in Space 1965 on Blu-ray. Great time to get the Cameron films at last. Doctor Who has more than half the seasons on Blu. Then there's the Anderson shows. Agree to all of that. I love me some Batman 66. I have the Lost in Space. Okay. Dude, Robert, those Lost in Space Blu-rays, the packaging, that's crazy, right? It's not good, right? It's like like, for those that don't know, I think I made a video about it in a packaging video one time. I think I'm debating, do I go? It's not easily accessible. It's up there. It's up there on the top shelf. Ooh, you guys just got to see something. You got a sneak peek. Robert, confirm, right? It's like accordion. It's like you unbox, like fold is like fold, 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 fold. And as you're trying to unfold and find the one that's got the disc in it that you need, which is just like slid in between two pieces of cardboard, they're falling out. They're on the floor. The discs are all over the place. They need to repackage that stuff like now, like post haste, repackage that stuff. But he's right. The restorations look great. It's great to have those on Blu-ray. The Cameron films at last. Let's hope they look good. I'm hearing mixed reports on the digital versions because people are seeing the digital versions. The physical is not out yet. And I am loving the the classic Doctor Who on Blu-ray too, because they got all the extra. People go like, well, why VHS, like video quality, video, you know, standard videotape. That's what I'm looking for. Why put videotape on Blu-ray? They can upscale it a little bit, but I think the benefit for those sets is like mountains of extras, new documentaries. It's like everything that's ever been created before and all the new stuff. So it's great. I got a few seasons. I'm a little bit behind because they trained me, don't buy them when they're brand new. Wait, and in the holidays, like right now, they're half price. So I got to get a Pertwee season. I need to get the William Hartnell season. And I think I'm one Tom Baker season behind. I think that's it. I wish they'd go ahead and put out the Key to Time series. He had to put the Lost in Space Blu-rays in individual cases. That's a good idea. Ripped open the boxes and lifted off the discs. Yeah. Every time you say videotape, you have to thank Bing Crosby. Thank you, Bing Crosby. Oh, hold up. Chaser Chased. The Doctor Who 60th anniversary Blu-ray collections are terrible. Hope they fix it before mine ships. I saw the solicits for that. I haven't seen the actual. What's wrong with the cases? Peter Davison season 2 Blu-ray April 2nd in the USA. All right, guys. So, wait, did anybody have anything to say about The Expanse? Oh, Channel Surf loved The Expanse. The last 2 seasons were a bit disappointing. Aw. Hey, Rick, thanks. Big up to Heath from Australia. Love Umbrella and Via Vision. Rick, how are you feeling about stuff? You feeling pretty good? If Sony is really pulling out and there'll be no more Sony and Disney in Australia, you in good shape? Like, you guys gonna be okay? Just know, I guess let's full circle here. The labels are actively trying to pick up the licenses to keep that stuff going. Don't ever think that nobody cares. They do. It's just and I think it's just a matter of time. All that stuff, like the audience is there, you know. Again, we're not huge. We need to know who we like see yourself, right? We're not a huge audience. We're a very small audience, but we're loyal. We're devoted. We care about this stuff, and we will. I mean, there's the cult of physical media, guys. That's what we are. We do that. There are companies that want to pursue us to make us happy. So, Umbrella, Via Vision. I'm gonna also shout out Chameleon Films out of Australia, because they're also putting out a lot of like Hong Kong movies, like Asian cinema that needs releases. Also, so there's 3 Australian labels for you right there that are doing stuff, and they want to get access to these libraries. So I think it's just a matter of time. All right, guys. Mike asks, how often do you rewatch your collection? Well, it's what I said earlier in this live stream, is that I have realized over the course of the last year that I'll never get to some of this stuff again, because if I watched one movie a day, it's like 30 years worth of stuff. I mean, seriously, it's a lifetime's worth of entertainment. And that's not even counting Hawaii Five-0, and I got Bonanza right here. I don't have to hold everything up, but hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of television that I also love. So rewatching, and that's kind of my point, is like, you know, we pursue it so hard. Are we watching it? And if we are watching it, you know, are we talking about it? Are we sharing it? All right, guys. Oh, Rick hasn't heard of Chameleon. I've covered all the releases here on the channel. There's a Chameleon spotlight video. If you go, like when we finish here, go, you could search in the YouTube Serial at Midnight search bar for Chameleon Films. It keeps saying films. Chameleon Films. And I covered their entire first wave. I wanted to do an interview, but hasn't happened yet. Fingers crossed for that one. Yes, Asian cinema, you guys. Right now, the Asian cinema is just everywhere. Channel Star says it's like having a library of books. You never know when you will want to go back to something. That's absolutely right. That's one of the reasons I I'm gonna have to stop here in a second because my voice is getting hard to talk. Uh, just access, having access to this stuff. There's so much stuff that doesn't have it's not on streaming, it's not on digital, it only lives on disc, and that's the reason to have it. And I have a hard time letting that go. I don't think I should let that go. That's why we do what we do. I think a lot of us, I don't know how much of us, I think a lot of us are here because we do love movies and we just want to be able to watch this stuff. I think we're safeguarding our collections. Like, again, if it all went away tomorrow, if there were no more new releases, I have a blockbuster video at my fingertips forever, for the rest of my life. And that's great. And I think that's a good reason to, a good way to leave it, a good place to stop. Thank you guys. More videos coming in the next couple of weeks. I appreciate you. Take care. Thanks to the super chats, guys. That was really generous of you guys. Really, really awesome. I appreciate it. Guys, take care. Keep the conversation going in the comments. The live chat replay is going to be live on this, so people can see what you said and continue that conversation. Do keep it going. Thank you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a very safe, merry, happy holidays, and I'll see you soon. Take care.